So in this video I'm going to show you guys some amazing Android apps and games that I found this year. I've picked apps that are not only useful, fun and free, but none of these will force purchases on you, and they keep ads to a minimum. With that being said guys, let's get straight into it. So number one is Tactile Wars, and I have to say this is the perfect example of a game that feels like it was built to be used on a smartphone. It combines board game mechanics with real-time strategy with shooter, and I have to say guys, the result is incredible. This is one of the deepest and most satisfying strategy games I think I've ever played, let alone on a phone. It's a bit reminiscent of Command & Conquer, in that your objective here is to capture the enemy bases, but the way in which you do that is great. You can control your whole army with just one finger. Drawing different gestures will change their formation, which changes the way they attack. And as well as going on the offense against 6 other teams, you also have to think about defending your own base, and there is so much depth, it's unreal. The amount of upgrades, turrets, defenses you can buy for yourself. This game could take you 100 hours plus. Number 2 is Polyforge, and this is pretty much a polar opposite. It's clean, simple, and there's just not too much going on. The objective is super straightforward. You're basically orbiting around geometric objects and you've got to fire in places that you've not fired before. Cover the shape and you win and move to the next level, and it just gets harder and harder. The mechanics are simple, but it's synced with Google Play, so you're always getting your achievements, and the soundtrack is just amazing. Number 3 is a handy little app I discovered last week, and it's called Torchy. What it allows you to do is assign your volume buttons, if you press them both at the same time, to turn on and off your flashlight. It works with your screen on, your screen off, even in other apps. So I mean, it's not exactly a game changer, but a handy little thing to use. Next up is Insidious VR, and this game really surprised me because guys, it is very, very scary. Trust me, I'm the kind of guy who can sit through a horror film no problems, but 20 minutes into this game and I wanted to be legging it away from my house. The narration, the voiceover, the music, and the visuals work together to create an experience you can just lose yourself in. And I challenge you to play this game for 30 minutes on your own and try not to jump out your seat. Next up we have Splash Cars. Not exactly the most recent game on the list, but the idea behind it is super cool and makes it a joy to play. You drive around in a series of increasing difficulty levels, and the whole world is turned black and white, and it's your job to paint it in colour. You've got to be really systematic about how you approach each level, try and plan your route so you pick up all the petrol cans. There's even an online multiplayer which works instantaneously, and that was quite a bit of fun for the 10 or so minutes I played it. And contrary to its cutesy art aesthetic, the game has plenty of depth. Loads of cars to unlock, as well as loads of new areas to explore. The next game is super interesting. This is called Lighthouse. It's a physics-based puzzler. It's free, it's got no ads and no in-app purchases, which is refreshing. The goal is to try and fill each lighthouse with the amount of light it needs, and as you progress further it introduces things like mirrors to reflect the light, rotating panels, moving platforms, and so on and so forth, and it gets very hard very quickly. And there's so much content you could be on this game for again 30 plus hours. So the next one is Night Owl, and this app basically allows you to take your phone's brightness far lower than the default settings will allow. So it's useful if you stay up late at night and you like to look at things on your phone, then this will stop you straining your eyes and keeping yourself up late. There are a lot of apps that do a similar thing, but what I liked about this one is that it actually has additional settings. You can schedule the time you want it to turn on and off. You can also add color filters. For example, you could take out blue light, which is particularly straining on the eyes. At number 8 we have Road to be King. Now this is made by probably my second favourite Android developer of all time, Noodlecake Studios, and I have to say I was not disappointed. It's more or less an endless runner, but the twist here is that you've actually got full control of the character, which in my opinion makes things a little more engaging. Apart from that, the game doesn't do too much out the box, but it's got great graphics, smooth gameplay, and some awesome RPG elements, which keep you coming back for more. Once again, whipping out the VR headset, we've got Discovery VR, definitely more of an app than a game this time round. It lets you travel to different locations and just explore cool parts of the world. You can join in on a dirt bike ride, look around inside a TV show, or sail across a boat in Venice. The library of content isn't exactly vast right now, but they're adding new stuff, and the quality of what is there is high. It's not got any in-app purchases, no ads, so you might as well give it a spin. And last but not least, we've got Train Conductor World. Now don't let the name put you off, I mean trust me, I am not a train guy. It's all about time management, but it just so happens that we've got great graphics and a good rate of progression too, which keeps things constantly refreshing. The trains will come from all different tracks, and your goal is to sort them so they're in the right one, depending on what number's on top of them. And the hardest bit is that they can't crash. One crash and it's game over. And it's harder than it sounds because sometimes there'll be 5 trains at once. Sometimes trains will even be going the wrong way. And before you know it, you'll be traversing water, air, and everything else you can think of. It's tricky. So guys, thanks a lot for watching, I really appreciate it. This list took me absolutely ages to put together, so if you did enjoy the video, then a like would be really appreciated. With that being said, I'm Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'm signing out.